Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 324. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be sharing my powerful 4-step Facebook and Instagram ad formula with you guys. And I'm going to share the exact formula along with some examples of brands that are advertising like this because it can be so powerful. So let me ask you a question. What do you think makes this formula work so well while so many other advertisers are having issues and challenges with their ads? The answer is it's based off of data and time-tested strategies. Like, those things matter. They can make all the difference in the world. It's also simple, but extremely powerful. Think about what made Google such a big company. What made them great? A clean search page. There was no clutter. There was basically just one thing to do, and it was exactly what you wanted to do, and you typically got the result you wanted from your search. That's a great example of simple, but extremely powerful. So I'm super excited to share this formula with you guys today because it could be a game changer. And I'm glad you're here. I really do record these episodes every single week so that you get up-to-date, relevant information week by week. I do not batch record these. I love doing this. It's one of the most favorite parts of my week, and I do it for you. Now, if you guys are looking for some one-on-one coaching so you can finally learn ads or marketing the right way, or maybe you want somebody to actually run your ads for you because you're too busy or you just want to do what you do best. For either one of those things, you can always go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. You can also connect with me on Threads at philgrahamdigital as well, and I would love to hear from you. So I'm going to jump right into the formula because I want to keep this episode short, actionable, and full of value for you guys. And I'm going to share the formula and how you could use it as well. So the first step in the formula is a hook, also known as getting their attention, because no matter how good your ad is or how good you are or your product or service, when you're advertising, if you don't get their attention to see how good it is, then you're going to have problems. You've got to get their attention with a hook. So many advertisers fail because they don't have a hook or their hook is weak. It's not good enough. So you've got to start with a great hook. So a hook can be many different places. It can be in a headline. It can be in the starting part of your ad copy. When you do a video, it's the first 3 to 4 seconds of your video. An image can also function as a hook as well as a thumbnail for your video. All of those things will determine whether somebody pays attention, whether it gets their attention and holds their attention. And if it does, you have a much better chance of success. So you've got to have a great hook. So what are some different hooks that are really effective for us? Well, questions are a really good one. Think of anything you might say, something you might put in a headline. When you can phrase it as a question, that can be powerful because when people read a question, they typically kind of like internalize it because it's phrased as a question. And that can be something that gets them to think a little bit more and gets their attention and holds it. And they may engage with your ad further because of that. So I love using questions as hooks. For example, let's just say I was going to run a headline and I could use a question like, this targeting strategy doubled my sales for less money, with a question mark. That introduces what? Curiosity. When you phrase it as a question, you're like, whoa, did it? If so, what was it? I want to know. So questions can really generate curiosity, which can get people to engage with your ad. That gets their attention. So anything you might say in a headline or at the start of your video, phrasing it as a question could be a great way to go. Now, we've got plenty of headlines that are not questions, but I love doing questions as the hook for some of our ads at the beginning of a video and in our headline, that can be powerful. A couple other hook ideas for you guys are making a bold or strong statement. That can function as a great hook. Focusing on the pain point at the very beginning. Are you tired of this? Are you struggling with that? Going right into the pain point before you talk about you or who you are or what you do. Start with the pain point. That can be a great hook. Another thing when it comes to hooks is energy and emotion. So if you're creating a video, how you talk on that video can function as a hook. If you start a video and you've got low energy and you're just kind of going through the motions, maybe you're nervous, that's probably going to hurt you. But if you're excited and you've got some emotion, you've got some energy, that can function as a really great hook to start that video in addition to whatever it is you're saying. And then there's also visual hooks. Like I said, images, thumbnails, and even your video. When you start your video, maybe having some kind of movement where you're grabbing something, anything that helps get their attention, or even in editing, doing some cut scenes, like all of these things can function as great hooks. So make sure that when you're running your ads, you always start your ad with a great hook. Step number 2 is story. And also I add empathy to this as well. So whether it's a personal story, a brand story, or a story about a client or customer, it is extremely important. And also having empathy for your customers is a huge deal. They need to know that you've been there, you've been wherever they are, you've felt how they feel, or you've wanted whatever it is they want. And they need to know that you actually care, whether that's you as a person, personally, or as a brand. Stories connect people, and they also help them to understand you and your brand better. Analogies do that as well. If you guys have been listening to this podcast very long, you guys know that I love to use analogies because they really do a great job of helping people understand things. So when it comes to using stories, it could be done so many different ways. For example, let's say I could tell you a story about how to grow a business and be really successful, but wouldn't it be a lot better if I actually started with where I was before that, like when I began, when it was kind of scary and there was challenging times, and then I had the success? That's a much better way to put it, because if you're talking to somebody who's in that scary time, they're going to know that you understand them, that you were there, and they're going to connect to that. And that can be so powerful. And stories can be about so many different things. It's not just about success. It could apply to anything. It could be about what you or your brand believes in, what you're against, what you're for, who you're against. There's so many different ways to do that. One great example, and this applies to a product, Coca-Cola. You know, if Coke can do it, it's just a can of soda, then anybody can do this. Whether you're selling e-commerce, courses, services, other products, or your local business, you can always find a way to do this and to do this whole formula. So don't let anything stop you. What Coke does when they run their ads, it's so smart. Their ads are not focused about just the can of Coke and how it tastes. No, their ads focus about friends and family sharing moments together over a Coke. They focus on the emotion, not just the Coke. And even though they may talk about the taste a little bit here and there, it's not the main focus of the ad. It's the sharing moments together over a Coke. And that's a great way to tell a story. And it's extremely powerful. So again, you can apply this to any kind of business you have, but you want to make sure that you're telling a story. You want to make sure it's true, and that you're also having empathy for your customers or clients, and that you're starting with where they're at now in your story. It's so powerful. Step number 3 is differentiation. Oh my goodness. So many people mess up on this because they either don't have it or they miss the most important part, which is it's not just about how you're different or how your product or service is different. Okay. The most important part is, how does that difference benefit your customers and clients? That's what really matters. That's what they care about. That is what you need to focus on. This should be a major part of your advertising, because without differentiation, what are you? You're just one of thousands of other companies or people trying to sell stuff. Your differentiation is what can set you apart and get you noticed throughout all the noise that's out there. And differentiation can come in so many different forms. It could, of course, be the quality of your product or service. It could also be something that's pricing related, or values that you have as a person or a brand, or beliefs that you have, or the level of service that you give your customers, or again, what you stand for or against, or any number of other things. There's so many ways to differentiate, and you want to make sure that you not only communicate that, but don't forget, make sure you let your customers know how that benefits them, because that's really what they're most interested in. And that's the thing that is most important to them that'll help you the most. And lastly, step number 4 is, of course, the offer. So we've got hook, we've got story and empathy, then we've got differentiation and how it benefits them, and now we have the offer. So you have to earn the right to make the offer. You've got to earn it. Most people don't earn it. They just spam people to death and wonder why they're losing money. Your offer should be clean, like Google. It should be simple. It should be easy to understand. Also, your offer should really focus on what is in it for them. Too many people, when they make their offers, not just in their ads, but also on their landing and sales pages, they focus way too much on just the product or service and not enough on their ideal customers and clients and how it can help them in their lives. I've got a perfect example for you. I want you to imagine that you run an airline, and your airline is going to run ads to get people to buy tickets on flights to go to Hawaii. What most people do is they essentially would run an ad talking about how great their seats are and what meal they're going to serve on the flight. I'll tell you what, most people don't give a crap about that. You know what they want to hear about? The destination, Hawaii. They want to hear about getting it away from it all and spending time with their family and friends and getting in the hot sun and having fun. That's what they want to hear about, not the fabric of the seats of the airline. So metaphorically speaking, most people with their ads are stuck talking about the fabric when they should be talking about the benefits your product or service actually gives them. That's such a huge part of the offer. Make sure you don't make those mistakes. Also, having a sense of urgency with your offer can help. We don't always do this, but it can be powerful. It needs to be real, though. Don't be like those spammers that have fake urgency that resets every day or every 12 minutes or anything like that. Have a real sense of urgency, and that can make a difference as well. So lastly, you guys, I wanted to give you a couple examples of some brands that use this framework really well. And one of them is Dove. So Dove has a campaign. It's called the Real Beauty Campaign. They do this so well. So their hook is great because they really challenge what society's beauty standards are, and essentially talk about how somebody can be beautiful no matter what. And then they transition right into the story, and their story focuses on empowering women by celebrating their natural beauty. And also they talk about self-acceptance and things like that. And then at the end of that, they do have an offer, and their offer is not just for Dove's products, but they show and talk about how the products can enhance somebody's natural beauty and promote self-care, which totally aligns with the story that's earlier in the ad. It is insanely powerful. So that's like one really good example. Another one, of course, is Apple. They are masters at this. So they typically start ads showcasing and focusing on like a problem that their products solve. And then they transition into the story part about how their phones and iPads and computers and technology can really like transform your life It's not just about what the phone is made out of, although sometimes they talk a little bit about that because that is important. But they focus most of their time on what it can do for you, how it can help you be more creative, how it can help you get things done quicker, and how you can create things and inspire you and others to do great things. It's that emotion. It's what it can do for you, not just the product. There's so many others. Nike does this and many, many others. Like I said, Coca-Cola, these big brands do it. You can do it too. Whether you have a large ad budget or a small ad budget, you can absolutely leverage this. So remember, step 1 is the hook. You need to get their attention. Step 2 is story and empathy and really caring about your customers. Needs to be real. Step 3 is differentiation and how it benefits them. And step 4 is the offer. And remember, you got to earn the right to make that offer. How do you earn it? You do those 3 steps above step 4, and you also give them value. That's how you can earn the right to make an offer. So my friends, put this into action. It's worked amazing for us. If you have questions or you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, or hit me up on Threads at philgrahamdigital. Episode 324 is in the books. I have a lot of great episodes coming for you very soon, and I will talk to you on next week's episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.